All right, number 4. And I'm using a milk jug as my tripod here for today. We're upstairs, just hanging. And we're going to cover some material that is essentially ways and also understanding that's needed to have so that we can optimize our lifestyle to set our body up for easy wins. Or you are already putting your body in in the position that it needs to for it to heal itself. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things we can do to get ourselves out of that lane. And then we're like, Lord, please help. And he's like, I have a design for you where you should remain in rest and in healing and in recovery that allows a lot of this stuff to get dealt with up front, so that me and you, we can talk about bigger and better things instead of like, I'm not feeling good all the time. So these are kind of some of the things that we'll talk about today. Really, really practical things that we can just understand, pay attention to, apply to our life. Some stuff we might have covered a little bit, but this will be a little bit more in depth. But the first little topic is about rest. So rest fights. Rest is it's kind of this weird paradigm where the rest of the world will take a pill, they'll do this, they'll maybe go to the doctor for little things, and they'll try to get things solved proactively, when in reality you just need to rest. You need to give your body the time to recover so that it can assess everything that you've done to it throughout your days, throughout your life, throughout your eating and whatever it may be, so that your body can assess and say, okay, these are the things that are wrong. So kind of going into that, sleep is one of the most critical and important aspects to our life. We spend like a third of our life, is that right, asleep. Out of 24 hours, we're supposed to be sleeping 8 hours of it in the 24-hour day. And that's sleep, not even time in bed. So sometimes you're like, I need to be in bed for 8 hours. No. You're not asleep for the entire 8 hours while you're in bed. It takes time to go to bed. You wake up a couple times per night. How are you getting the full amount of sleep that you should be? Maybe that's more like 9 hours, in bed. But we really shortchange ourselves, especially in our culture, from getting the depth and the amount and the quantity of sleep that we should be getting. So that really hurts us when it comes to being able to proactively self-heal in the sleeping process. So kind of the way that our bodies work is, I've been eating this, it's been giving me inflammation. You can kind of feel those things. You feel a little puffy, you feel kind of just a little achy or a little bit off, right? Those are simple things that this isn't necessarily turned into a major problem yet, but this is a sign that you're on your way to by the way that, or the things that you just ate. So let's say that that's happening. Let's say that you're starting to get sick and you are going to sleep. So tonight you go through light sleep, then REM sleep, and then deep sleep. So in your deep sleep is where your body is really doing the most to make your body recover. Okay? So like I always tell people in the gym, I tell them, you're not getting stronger in the gym. You're giving your body a reason to recover in the gym. Everything that we're doing in the gym, everything that we're when we're working on our heart, when we're working on our muscles, you're going to fall asleep and your body is going to take an analysis. And it's going to say, she worked this muscle out really hard today, or she ate this and I'm really inflamed, or this person's stomach is acting up because, they're not taking care of me. So I got these 3 things or these 4 things or whoever it is, like I have this much that I need to try to assess. When she hits deep sleep, we're getting after it, guys. So you have 100 soldiers. And if you have 5 things going on, then each problem only gets so much attention per soldier. So imagine that you're not eating things that are making you inflamed. Imagine that you're exercising, so on those nights your body can actually take ground forward. Instead of having 100 soldiers, now you have 200 soldiers that are going to go out throughout your body and help you, feel better, and that your blood is healthier, and that you're minimizing the things that you are eating that are making you inflamed. Then your body only has maybe a few things that it needs to take care of. So there is a sickness going around. Let's say that's the case. It doesn't matter to you, because you've been taking care of all of the things that are out of your life, so that your body can actually assess the problem when and if it comes.
That makes sense. That just made a lot of sense.
Yeah, somebody
A lot of
sneezes
defense.
right on your face. Right on your face. Little kid sneezes right in your mouth at school. You're like, I don't care. So exercise increases your soldiers. Eating good increases your soldiers. And in an ideal world, partnered with the way that you're eating and the way that you're living and exercising, you go to sleep, and all of a sudden your body is looking at yourself and is saying, and this is the problem where most of us don't get, is your body looks at you and says, oh my gosh, there is nothing bad that I need to work on. I don't have to work on us being backwards. I can start working in her sleep on us going forward. So I can retain more information. I can build stronger muscles. I can start working on this heart, and that's been, not working well. And I can burn body fat because I'm realizing that this stuff isn't needed the way that I thought it was before. And we can start actually taking ground forward. But if we keep on, number one, having so many problems with the way that we're eating and our lifestyle, high stress, bad food, lack of sleep, your body has so many things that needs to assess when you finally hit that deep sleep, which is when your body produces as well the most human growth hormone. So the other thing is, what if you're not getting into deep sleep enough? You have all these soldiers that are ready to go and start assessing all of these problems, but you're consistently in bed for 6 hours. You're not sleeping for 6 hours, and of those 6 hours, you're not getting deep sleep for 6 hours. So your body has even less time with the few soldiers that it has to assess this many problems. So imagine the panic that's going on in your body and saying, we got red lights on the dashboard and this, and that. And we got a lot of work to do. And she's given us like 20 minutes. And then we're going into light sleep, and then REM sleep. And then we're going back into deep sleep. And they're like, move. And they're like, all right, we got 20 more minutes. Now it's alarms going off, and it's time to wake up, and you feel terrible. And then we keep on perpetuating that cycle again and again. So us getting our bodies to a place, and you having that wherewithal within what you're eating, the way that things make you feel, and the way that you're sleeping, so that you can really assess your body and say, am I doing the things as it pertains to rest to allow my body to take the most ground while I'm sleeping? Am I letting the Lord and his design in the way that he designed us to heal me and to fix me? Because he's designed it this way so that we can rest in him. We should be able to sleep like a baby, because Jesus did in the bottom of the boat in a storm, with not a worry in the world. And we can't sleep very good. And it's an attribute that is so important that in our grind culture, we're just go. So those things by itself. Now this isn't even isn't like a Christian only concept. This is just God's design and you operating within the wheelhouse of how he made us. So anybody can reap the benefits of these principles, So whereas we were going through like James last week, like you got to be a Christian to, reap the blessings of a lot of those things, because it's the Christian way of thinking that is James. But even people can think the way that James does. And a lot of self-help people, you'll see that they'll have a lot of self-help advice that just lines up with the Bible in the first place. So it's like, you guys are making a lot of money off of creating a secular spin on what God's already been saying for 1,000 years. Yeah, make the most of when it's nice out. Is like you said, you're feeling bloated. You're like, okay, why? What did I eat? What did I do? And then you got to kind of be like, man, I'm going to pay for that because tonight, my body is going to be having to work on that when it can work on something else. Let's nerd out about fat loss.
Let's do it.
So as it pertains to fat loss, one thing that is pretty important for us to understand is our metabolism and kind of how our body responds. Why does it store body fat, or why does it even burn body fat? That's it. If we can kind of understand how our metabolism works and why it even gets to those places of storage and of burning, then we can understand how we put ourselves in the position to make one or the other happen. So our metabolism, as I like to explain it, is essentially in the simplest form, it's the capacity that your body has to burn the energy that it's given. So if you ate 2,000 calories, your metabolism per day might be at 1,500 calories. So without exercise, just a normal day, and you're naturally burning 1,500 calories a day just by living a normal day, but you ate 2,000, then you have 500 excess that your body has to do something with. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So you do that 500 in excess 7 times during the week, and you're consistently eating 500 calories over what is called your base metabolic rate. Getting nerdy, okay? Your base metabolic rate, or your basal metabolic rate, is the amount of calories that you're just burning naturally. So how fast your metabolism is, okay? So let's say that, for the sake of easy numbers, that it's 1,500 and you're eating a 2,000 calorie diet and you're not exercising at all. So over the 7 days, you're at 500 over, 1,000 over, 1,500 over, and after the 7 days, you're at 3,500 calories in abundance over what you should be. So every 3,500 calories over, theoretically, is 1 pound of fat.
Okay.
So that also works in the other direction. If you are 500 calories and under per day, then you would be losing 1 pound of fat per week, which is really good. You should try to lose, if you're trying to lose weight, between 1 to 2 pounds every week. And that's a good thing. If you lose too much at one time, that can be problematic. I'll explain that in a little bit. But so this kind of math and seeing, okay, here I am. Weighing myself throughout the week or once a week or whatever you think is best for you. I don't really have everybody's different. Some people would swear by one thing, and some people say if I do that, I'm gonna go crazy. So do your thing, but it is really important to weigh yourself and start learning about what your body is doing without beating yourself up. Your body is gonna go like this no matter what. So in the grand scheme of things, over 8 weeks, theoretically, 4 weeks, you should be about 8 pounds under if you're trying to lose 2 pounds a week, right? But you might lose a little bit more in 1 week and then none in another week. But if you ended up at the end of the month with 8 pounds, then you would realize that you shouldn't have been beating yourself up over that 1 week, because another thing that kind of plays into it is your water. So as you are, let's say you're 200 pounds and you are dropping weight, and now you lost, let's say, 5 pounds of body fat. Sometimes it takes time for your body to realize, okay, I don't need to supply this amount of water to her because she's not, 200 pounds still. But your body doesn't know that yet. So it might be supplying an abundance of water that you might hold on to, that on the scale, it won't say you're 195 pounds. It might say you're above 200 pounds still. And you're saying, what the heck is going on? But sometimes it takes time for your body to catch up and realize, okay, I don't need to supply the amount of water to her as a 200-pound person. I only need to give her the water of a 195-pound person. So there's those things, and as well as it comes to having salty foods or salting your stuff, that also makes you hold water. Carbs also make you hold water. Not a bad thing. It's just something that plays into the scale. So if you didn't lose, it can be water, you know. So you really can't beat yourself up over it too much. But it's checking over time that allows you to really understand. And if you check from one day to the next and you say, oh, that makes sense that I'm, you know, up, or nothing moved. Well, I had, you know, a lot of salt and extra water, you know, yesterday. I'm probably just holding on to it. I'll pee it out and we'll be good to go. Or over a week or two and you're like, okay, well, it's not just water. I'm eating too much. Then, you know, change that. But having grace for yourself, like you were saying, being patient with yourself, you're learning.
Yep.
And just a quick little side thing. So my grandpa used to always say, let me back up. He would teach us me and my brothers all how to golf. And if you've ever tried to golf, it's maddening out the gate. You get so mad because you stink at it. You have this club, should be easy. It's sitting right there and it's not moving. And you're just trying to whack it that way. Goes that way somehow. Or it's going straight and then it hooks off and it goes completely the wrong way. And you get so mad and your grandpa's just like, change this. You're like, okay, I did the same thing again. Change that. And you're like, okay, it's still going the wrong way. All right, change this. Tighten your grip. Do this. Do a bunch of these things you never thought about. Interlock your fingers like this. And you're getting so mad. You're getting mad at yourself. You're getting mad at him. And he looks at you and he says, you're not good enough to get mad. And you're like, what did you just say to me? You know how mad I am at this dumb ball that you're making me practice. And for some reason, when I'm older, I'm going to be grateful that I know how to golf because it's the only sport I'm going to be able to play. And you just told me I'm not good enough to get mad. No, like, thanks. I stink. But upon further reflection, you think about it and you're like, I haven't even learned how to do this. I haven't been practicing that much. And I'm so mad at myself. I am about to try to break this club over my knee if that were possible. Break your knee probably. But I'm getting so mad at something that I haven't given myself the time and the patience to actually learn. You know, everybody stunk at whatever they were doing the first time that they ever did it. And who am I to think that I should be a prodigy and just master golf, one of the hardest sports ever invented, right out the gate? And that goes the same way that you need to have grace for yourself when you're trying to learn about your body, because your body is one of the most complex things on the entire planet too. But you can figure it out with just some of these simple cues, some of these simple understandings, not being hard on yourself and learning, man, I haven't lost weight in 2 or 3 weeks. Am I going to spiral and give up? Or I'm going to say, you're not good enough to get upset at yourself. Like, you are just getting started. You haven't been doing it long enough and consistent enough to be able to see the results that you want to. You're still learning. Some of you might be learning, and I've also had some people where they're so mad at themselves that they haven't been losing weight. And I'm like, okay, well, what does your week look like? Well, I went out to eat this night, I drank this much, and I did this and I did that, and I missed this many workouts. And I'm like, how are you upset at yourself? You didn't do anything. You didn't do anything I told you to do, and you're so mad. So there's those elements of like, number one, you're learning, or am I doing what I should be doing? And if you're not, then you really can't be mad. You should praise God that your body's working exactly how it should be and that it's penalizing you for being an idiot, you know? So you're not good enough to get mad. You'll figure it out. And at the point where you do figure it out, you'll be able to understand how to get your body where you want it to go. But it only comes with consistency and learning and obviously being patient with yourself. So with that, and on staying on back to metabolism. So does metabolism kind of make some sense to you guys?
Yes, it does now. It never did until you just explained it to me.
Okay.
I was like, I don't even know what that means. I'm just like, I have a low metabolism.
That's what everybody thinks.
Yeah.
That's an easy.
I'd actually like to know how to.
It's an easy one.
Find out. Can you find out your metabolism? Is that
you can find out?
Like, can you actually find out your metabolism?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you know exactly like.
So there's a couple ways you can do it. Number one, you can just do this equation, you know, and you can even type in Google, what's my metabolism? Say, it says, then it'll say, how heavy are you? How tall are you? Are you male or female? Stuff like that. and it'll guess what you
Yeah,
probably
exactly,
are.
But can you like actually find out specific
You could find out specific. They might have more
tests for
advanced
that?
tests, but also you can judge by, for example, if I ate 2,000 calories and over this last week I gained 1 pound, then I'd be like, oh, I'm 500 pounds in abundance per day. So my metabolism's probably 1,500. Or if you're going and you're eating 1,500 and the scale's not moving, then you would say, okay, my lifestyle and how much I'm eating would put me at 1,500 calories because nothing's happening.
That's like
So that's a really good way to do it.
Stay at weight.
Yeah.
And for you to lose, then you have to.
If you ate on your base I'm just going to call it BMR. If you ate on your BMR, nothing should happen. So that's how you could find it as well.
I
So
have to do the calculation for my macros, but I wasn't sure if like that's actually what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's always
but
like
with that you'd have to track your food, and know how much
and I just
you're
stay
eating.
off the scale. So I was like, that's probably why I don't know.
Yeah, the scale can be helpful. So here's another thing. This is something that a lot of ladies get into is they try to starve themselves. That really messes your metabolism up in the future. So fad diets, straight up starving yourself. Your metabolism might not be true to like the equation as it should be because it needs to be reset. So they'll talk about resetting it,
Please do.
and then but first I'll talk about how it works first. So imagine you're a caveman, or it's thousands and thousands of years ago. I like to go back thousands of years because that's the purity of, with the bare minimum, our body still works like this without any of the pollution that is in our modern day. So 1,000 years ago, there is a farmer, caveman guy, and it's a drought. So what happens with this caveman or cave woman is they're working really hard to try to find food with no success. They're finding like some berries here and there. They're finding, maybe a rabbit, and every now and then they get to actually have, some protein or something like that. What their body does in that state, because they're in starvation mode, because they're in a drought, which it would reflect a similar situation as what we do sometimes when we try to starve ourselves and we're eating a fad diet. Your body is saying, I'm not getting enough food. I'm hyperactive. I need to store body fat, which is potential energy, so that if this keeps on going or keeps getting worse, that I have body fat to keep me alive. So your body fat is just stored energy. So how do you get that stored energy to get burning when it's just sitting there, just waiting for another opportunity? So anyway, so what happens? Every little thing that this person gets while they're in a drought is going to go to body fat because they don't have enough food. Okay? Let's go to the next scenario. This cave person hits a time of prosperity. They're farming, success. They're hunting, finding lots of success, and they're eating as much as they want to while being active, because the cave person and the cave woman, they're not sitting around. They're active and moving, like we talked about on the first day. They are making things happen at all times. So they're not in the gym. Their life is the gym. They're moving and they're on their feet and they're hunting and they're cooking and they're farming and plowing and they're doing everything, right? So they are exercising all day long, but also finding so much success with their lifestyle in farming and hunting that they can eat as much as they want. So what their body does is it says, okay, I have all of this activity. I have maybe some body fat that I don't want, but I can trust that she is going to feed me tomorrow because we're eating all the time. So what I'm going to do is everything that she gives me, I'm going to burn it, and I'm not going to need to store any of it anymore because I know that she's feeding me enough every single day. Whereas the first person is like, I don't trust her to feed me tomorrow. So I need to take precautions, use as little as possible, burn as few calories as possible, slow my metabolism down, and store body fat so that we can live. Versus the prosperity guy who's saying, I'm getting fed so much, I'm being taken care of so much, I can speed my metabolism up because I know that I'm going to keep on getting fed and I'm going to be okay. That partnered with activity speeds your metabolism up, builds muscle. More muscle that you have, the more body fat, or the more calories that you burn on a daily basis. Does that make sense? So you kind of see by those two examples of extremism, where you see the one person where they're starving themselves and they're working themselves, that their body is like, I'm going to take everything that you do give me, even if it's a little amount, and I'm not going to burn anymore because it's dangerous, and I'm going to store it. Let me ask you a question. What is the longest time that anybody in history has ever gone without eating? Do you know how long it was? 40?
I feel like, I don't know, at least, maybe like 6 months.
40 days? No,
Thinking about Jesus,
that's what
but,
I
like,
thought.
But yeah, but I know it's longer than that because I used to like study like people who just like did meditation
Yeah,
and they didn't
Oh, right.
eat,
Yeah,
and it was wild.
yeah.
So I know it's a pretty long time.
Good long time. Yeah,
Yeah, with water. Without water, you're dead.
right. With water, yeah.
With
Yeah.
water. Yeah.
6 months.
I think it's longer than that.
Do you think it's shorter or longer than that? The answer is 382 days.
Wow.
I knew it was way longer.
But
It's like a whole year.
Yeah, year.
But this guy was, I believe he was 300, maybe above 300 pounds.
Body had food.
So his body already had potential energy, so it didn't need food.
There's a guy on TikTok.
So
or Instagram
not the
right
way
now
to
that
go
says
about
things
it.
food.
To just stop, like I talked about. But this guy did it to such an extreme and had such an excess that he was monitored by doctors, and they gave him just fluids, perfectly how he would need to keep him moderately as safe as possible. And he lost like a ton of weight because that's all that his body was, had
Eating.
to eat, right?
Yeah.
So that's an example of what body fat is. So with that,
That's wild.
you can understand how you can put your body in a deficit of food so that your body is active. So let's say now your base metabolic rate is it's 1,500 calories, but you're exercising and you're burning an extra 500 per day. And now you're eating 1,500 calories. So you're right in that sweet spot like the first guy. Or sorry, the second caveman that we were talking about, where your body's saying, I'm getting everything that I need, and she's working her butt off. So, I don't need to store any of this. I can put all of this towards progress. I can put all of this towards muscle, because now you're at 1,500 calories and you're eating 1,500 calories and you're burning an extra 500 above that. That's going to allow you to lose 1 pound of body fat per week. And that's going to just keep on perpetuating itself for as long as you need. So
is that like the same process with like losing it?
that is the
Still
process for
takes
losing it.
time- Still takes time. In
Yeah.
that sense of like, okay, so 1 to 2 pounds, like you're losing
Mhm.
a week. So would you pay attention in the same way if you were trying to lose it?
Yeah, so that is if you're trying to lose it. So,
So like if you're trying to gain it,
You
though,
put
is that the
extra
same
trying to gain it.
500.
Yeah, you would put an extra 500. Yep. And within that, normally you would gain a little bit of body fat with your muscle. And same thing with losing body fat. Normally you lose a little bit of muscle with your body fat. So that's why it's important to have a high protein diet while you're doing either one, so that you can maintain as much muscle as possible, which will help keep your BMR high as well. Because your body wants to prioritize your muscle above everything else, because it's what keeps you strong, it's what keeps you healthy, it's what keeps you going. So having enough protein, generally the amount of protein that you would want is 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And that will supply your body with as much as you need to make sure you're keeping it going. So that brings me to nutrition. So, question for you. For every 1 gram of protein, which I like to imagine is like a sugar cubed size of protein, there are 4 calories in every gram of protein. For every gram of fat, there's 9 calories. For every 1 gram of carbs, guess how many calories are in 1 gram of carbs? 20?
I know there's a lot. Wait, protein and carbs
Protein is 4, fat is 9, carbs is what?
for calories?
Calories.
Yeah, I would say like
20 or 30. It is 4 calories, the same as protein.
Really?
Yes.
For carbs?
Yeah.
I'm over here. I was about to say 50.
Gotta be 50. I mean, that's crazy. But no, I think the reason for that is number one, we villainize carbs in our culture like crazy, you know. But number one, carbs make you store water, so it makes you feel like you feel loaded. You gained weight immediately the next day because it can inflame you a little bit. It depends on the purity of the carb too, what kind of carbs you're having. But that's why people think that it's so high, because it makes you gain weight tomorrow because it holds on to water, when in reality it's not that big of a deal. But carbs are also easy to eat. It's really easy to eat 100 grams of carbs. It's not that easy to eat 100 grams of protein. Even though they have the same caloric value, you can pound carbs,
Oh yeah.
you know, depending on
Versus
what
protein.
kind of carbs it is too.
Protein fills you up so like so.
Yeah.
You can eat a whole bag of chips. And,
Right.
Like, you're not really full.
You can keep going. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in our culture, we pack on because we want to fill our plate up. We're like, we need a full plate. So what do you put on there? The cheap stuff, carbs. And you're throwing it on there because you can eat so much of it and enjoy it for so much longer. That is why it's so important to front load your diet with protein, so that the amount of space, if you want to call it that, is taken up by protein, which is required. And then you backfill with carbs to meet a certain amount too. So if you are at if you're 200 pounds and you need to try to aim for 200 grams of protein, 800. So 800 of your calories are already spoken for by protein. So now you can figure out how much of that goes to fat, how much of that goes into carbs. But if you're getting your protein, then you're going to be filled up enough to not overeat in some of the other areas. So that's a really, really, really simple and good place to start.
You're saying for me to keep muscle since I'm 100 pounds, I have to eat grams of protein? Bruh, that I thought you were supposed to eat the protein that you want, the weight you're supposed to be.
You could go about it like that, but you're,
That's like,
number one, you're going to be,
can only eat protein. I literally.
well, you would be at 800 calories on your protein, which is not enough calories per day. So you want to eat more than that to keep your metabolism spinning. No, you don't.
Yes, because I'm in meal prepping and like I have like 2 meals and they're both 50 grams of protein. It's basically all hamburger, like all grass-fed beef, like, and I have no carbs. Like, and I'm like, bro, how you gonna? I can't eat 4 of these meals. They're massive.
You have to. It takes a little bit of work. But it should become normal life. You know, if you have to get somewhere, like, you're not going to have to do that forever. You need to get to where you want to go first. And then let's say I've been doing this a month and I kind of understand, okay, I've been losing. I don't really have to do weigh, or like, I just got to keep it going. You know, you don't have to think, yeah, right. Cause you learned the process and you're like, I need to maintain this process. But now you lost 20 pounds and you plateaued and you're not losing any weight. The reason for that is that you're not as heavy, so that you're not burning as many calories, because a heavier person will need to burn more calories than a lighter person. So now that you lost 20 pounds, your metabolism is a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit lower. So now you have to eat a little bit less than you did before without going too far and starving yourself. So, I was going to talk about this earlier. Restarting your metabolism. So let's say that you hit a plateau and you're already like, I'm barely eating anything anymore. That is not a good place that you want to be. I'm already working out. I'm not eating very much and I can't lose anything anymore. That's when you found yourself in the place of the first caveman, right? So what do you need to do? You need to become the second caveman for a season. You need to restart your metabolism and do it all over again. So if you are at the start, let's say I'm not eating very much. I'm the first caveman and nothing is budging. I'm not losing any weight anymore. This sucks. That your metabolism is matched with what you're eating. And if you eat any less, like it's not good, right? So you need to go to the other side and you just start eating more. What that's going to do, you're eating more, you're exercising maybe a little bit more intense, trying to burn more calories, but you're trying to eat like an animal. At first, like Hannah kind of talked about already, it's going to be hard to get that amount of calories in. That's because your body doesn't want it. It's used to you not eating very much. So now you're eating until you're full of good, clean stuff. But over time, your body is going to be welcome and open because your metabolism's starting to speed up to you having more food. So now, tomorrow, it's a little easier to eat more. The day after that, it's a little easier to eat more. So now you see yourself and you're like, I am eating a lot of food and I am still hungry during the day. That is a sign that you are burning calories and your metabolism has sped up, because despite you eating so much, you are still finding yourself getting hungry. And that's where you would say, okay, I'm in the right spot. So now I'm eating this 2,000 calories every single day again. My metabolism is sped up. And somehow, even though I'm eating 2,000 some calories, I'm still finding that I'm hungry a couple hours, 3 hours after my meal. That's because your body wants more. So what if you don't give it to your body? And you say, instead of giving you more and keep increasing my calories every day, I'm going to drop at 200 calories. So you're begging me and you're asking me to give you 2,200 calories, but I'm only going to give you 1,800. So now your body's like, well, I'm hungry and I'm going to get that energy. So I'm going to eat your body fat because I'm not getting as much as I want to. So now here you are and you're feeding yourself 1,800 calories after you've reset it to 2,000. So I was at 2,000 and now I'm found that I'm still hungry. Now I'm backing it off and instead of climbing, I'm going backwards 200 calories at 1,800. I created a deficit between what my body is showing me that it wants because I'm getting hungry, and now I'm at 1,800. So now your body is like, okay, I'm eating your body fat away, and then you're going to plateau again at 1,800. Cut it back a little bit, and then you're hungry again. And then you're going to cut it, you're going to go back, and then you're going to meet yourself at 1,600 calories. And then you're going to plateau again, and you're not going to be where you want to be. Then you cut it back a little bit more, back to 1,400. The lowest I would go is maybe 1,200 calories. And you're going to cut that back.
1,200? That's like no food.
Yeah, that's not very much. Not very much. So you really don't want to go below that. Depending on who you are, that's no good.
Trying to get your
So
protein with 1,200 calories. Good luck.
it's that cycle though, where your body recognizes what you're doing. So it's saying, okay, I was hungry because she kept feeding me more and more and more. Now I noticed, I'm onto you, that you're not giving me as much food. So I'm going to supplement with body fat so that I can get myself through, because that's what I'm asking for. I'm going to fill in the excess of those calories with your body fat, but eventually I'm going to meet you back to where you're actually at. But then you plateau, you can't lose any weight anymore. So then you cut it back a little bit. You have that hunger gap right there where your body's going to start eating your body fat until it meets itself there again.
Such a science, my dude.
So now your calories are too low. What do? You refeed. You eat your calories up. You focus on building muscle instead of losing weight so that you can start getting hungry again. And lots of times I've seen people still
That way
lose
the
weight.
Trainers do that, like they bulk and they
Mhm.
cut.
Yeah.
And that's why they do that.
Yeah.
I never understood that. I had no idea
Yeah.
why they're like, it's cutting season and it's bulking season. I'm like, okay, bro, like what
Right.
are you talking about?
Yeah.
I understand now.
Yeah.
It's such a science.
You build that muscle up. You focus on that muscle. And now you have even more to work with to burn that body fat as you go. So you're like, I'm not eating very much. I'm not losing anymore. Now it's time to refeed. Slowly start eating as much as you can, but it's got to obviously be clean. And you're eating clean stuff so that everything that you are eating, your body wants it and your body can use it. It doesn't have to suss out, this is bull crap, this is, good. It's like, no, this is all pure good stuff. So you eat yourself back back up and you're like, all right, I'm about this many calories. Now I need to back it off again. Here we go. And you'll start losing. So a lot of the times I've worked with people who have had a history of abusing their metabolism, and they're starting off as the first caveman. They're at the first caveman, and everything that they're eating, even though it be so small, it's going towards body fat. And then here I am, and they're trying to say, hey, help me lose weight. And I'm like, you have screwed yourself over because of the way that you've been eating. We need to make you eat more and refeed you before we can even think about, losing body.
It's like so impossible for someone who like is trained to eat less. And
Right.
It's a very hard thing.
It is. It really
It's
is.
so hard for me
Yeah.
to be like, what?
You really got to change.
It takes
The
a
way
lot
you
after,
think.
like that whole starvation, like fad diet stuff. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm one of those people. Like,
Yeah.
trying to understand. Like, you're like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, 200 grams of protein. I'm like, excuse me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm still like
100%. Yeah, because it seems like a lot, but it's what it takes, So, but yeah, build it up. Don't just like, if I told you to do 100 push-ups right now, you'd be like, I can't right now, but I maybe could in 6 months or a year if I got to train. Same thing with your stomach. It's going to take a little bit of time to build yourself up to be able to get or eat or be satisfied with that much protein. It might be 160 or no, yeah, 160, then 180, then 200, so. Well, we're running out of time. That went by fast. This is such a dense topic, but this is like, if this is all that we could talk about, and I could try to just like give you, this is the things that you need to be taken care of. Like for me, I'm trying to eat more and get a little heavier. So right now I'm getting hungry, and I'm like, for me, that's not good, because I'm trying to go the opposite direction. I really shouldn't be hungry very often, if ever. So right now I'm losing. I'm losing body fat. I'm going the direction I don't want to. Yeah.
Yeah, build.
So I'm getting myself into a deficit, and I only have so many hours in the day. So I need to eat, and vice versa. If you're trying to lose and you're sitting, you're like, I'm hungry right now. You're like, okay, perfect. Now give it another hour or two, then eat, and then eat until, you're about 90% full. And then go, and you're like, all right, I noticed I'm hungry. All right, now wait an hour. Let your body sit in that hunger, then give it something to work on. So your metabolism's like spinning. But if you're not eating for a long period of time, then your body could be like, okay, I'm not sure I'm gonna keep burning because I don't know when she's gonna feed me next. So I'm gonna put a hold on it. And then you're like, nope, I'm gonna eat. And then.
So as Christians, what about when we fast?
So when you're fasting, your body is gonna calibrate, and it's going to start eating some of your body fat. But the thing is that is not, you don't fast for the rest, like you're just not going to just not eat anymore.
Yeah.
So what that does is if you're fasting, it's good for you because your body's like, I'm not getting any food. I'm just keeping my system as pure as it gets, and I'm just working on body fat. So I can start restoring and healing other parts of my body. Like there's people who have healed cancer by just fasting and just not eating, because your body's like, I'm not getting any food. I have nothing to do except for, oh, look at this cancer over here. That's all I'm going to put all of my soldiers to. So there's goodness in that. And then you start eating again, and you do have to start, depending on how long you're fasting, start, building yourself back up. So it's not bad for you, but it would be bad for you if you are working your butt off and exercising a lot, and you're kind of like teasing yourself with little amounts of food, where you're like, I'm not really even committed to fasting even. So if you're going to fast, do it for
Like
full blown for the spiritual purposes of it. As well as I like to do a fast, like probably once a quarter. If there's anything building up that shouldn't be there, for spiritual and physical benefits, Lord, restore me. A quarter of the way through the year. Anything that's, going on in me that shouldn't, like, I'm going to stop eating so that you can address, those problems and restore my body. Yeah.
Like, it's like his time to fix
Yeah.
everything spiritually and physically.
Yeah, dude. And giving him that time, and sleeping is also like a religious matter as well. Sleeping good, sleeping deep, taking care of yourself, prioritizing. I'm not going to keep myself going. Like, Lord, you keep me going. And I'm falling right in your design. The reason I'm able to sleep so deep and so good is because you're so good.